Ndu shaka punatwi kale pansaka shicharina na lete yashi shinkando se shaka punatwi kale pansaka shicharina na lete yashi yashi shivyorine twalalanda kufunda bantu balekyo kupatana Lyashishi lyoline twalalanda kufunda bantu balekyo kupatana umayanda pamachitone mitundo yonse palamute mwana umayanda pamachitone mitundo yonse palamute mwana alamute mwane kubenji boteneza alamute mwane kubenji boteneza Wabantu bose wenimbila esabakanya kubeka chalo Wabantu bose wenimbila esabakanya kubeka chalo Ichibemba chajilanda musosero ya chiko Utwala kabwingi alatona ula Okuteke sakabane chikakala Abantu bose muchalo ekubakabila Ichibemba chajilanda musosero ya chiko Utwala kabwingi alatona ula Okuteke sakabane chikakala Abantu bose muchalo ekubakabila
Shamuchalo, watende mutumaya kumfana. Mantungulishonse shamuchalo, watende mutumaya kumfana. Junku kulanda lokakano kariu kulanda, uriyantan shamuchalo ni shubaisa. Upteken sakavane chikantala. Laleto tende no kumfana. Ano kariu kulanda, yantan shumuchalo ni shubaisa. Ukuteke sakabane chikantala. Laleto shumuche no kumfana. Good evening, beloved Zambia. I hope you are all doing it well, and good morning, good afternoon, depending where you are and depending on what time you're going to be watching this. Welcome to Thursday Night Motivation on TV Wakwetu. I hope you are all doing well. I hope your week has been as productive as you wanted it to be. I hope it's been a week where you've been working on the things that matter to you. And there's something that I always talk about. It's goals. I always talk about goals. For me, if you want to have an interesting conversation, when people start talking about goals, it excites me. And this evening, my question to you is: have you got any goals? What are your goals? What do you want to achieve in your life? What's one thing that you want to do? And whenever I coach people, and I coach people on goals, on setting goals, how to set realistic goals, how to create strategies to achieve those goals, and the different ways to get to goals in life. First of all, you cannot make it as a wandering generality. You have to become a meaningful specific. You have to have a goal in mind. I meet a lot of people who say things like, I want more money. Well, here's 10 kwacha. That's 10 kwacha more than you had. It's not an empowering goal. It's not a goal that will make you wake up early in bed. I want more money. It's vague. You want a goal that is going to be realistic for you. You want a goal that is going to You want a goal that is going to inspire you to wake up early. You want a goal that will inspire you to keep doing things that needs to be done, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like doing it. You want a goal that will inspire you to do those things. For so many people's goals, for so many people, their goals are just not inspiring enough. It doesn't excite you. For me, I remember when I failed my high school and I set a goal to go to university, I was able to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning after going to bed at midnight because I had a goal that inspired me. I imagined that if I recite my exam, passed my exams, went to university, I would have my own house and I'll be going to work and I'll have my own house and all of those things. I achieved all those things. Now, when it comes to our goals, it's important to understand that there are different ways to get your goals. There are very different ways to get your goals. You cannot, there's no one way. There's no one way. There's no one way to get to the things that you want. There isn't a one single way you can get to the things that you want. And the problem that I have, right, in the personal development world, I read a book that says 10 steps to get to be successful, 10 steps to get everything that you want in your life. First of all, this evening, as I'm telling you about goals, I want you to know that there is no 10 steps. There is no 10 step of getting to anything in life. There isn't a single 10 steps. There's not 10 step strategy that will prepare you for the tragedies that life brings. You're a mother, your husband goes to work, has an accident, dies, and you got 4 children at home, right? There's no 10 simple strategies that will prepare you for that. And that's the thing that we do in life. We're looking for what are the strategies that will get me to the things that I want. So one of my coaching clients asked me this question. So if I set a goal, does that mean I'm guaranteed to get the things that I want? No. Because there are outcomes in life, there are things that happen in his life that are unpredictable. It's just life. However, goals keep you going. Goals keep you motivated. The people who succeed in this life have got goals. In 1953, a study was done at Yale University. That study was done in 1947 of university who were graduating that year. The students were graduating that year. And what they did a study and they asked them if they had goals. And in 1957, 10 years later, the people who did the study went and interviewed the people that they studied. And what they discovered was the people, only 3% of the people that interviewed in 1947 had set goals, written down goals, were the only 3%. And those 3% were the highest earners. Those 3% were the highest earners. Then this study again was repeated in 1980. It was repeated again in 1974, but this time at Harvard University. And the results were exactly the same. The people who had written down goals were the most successful. Again, that only 3% had written down goals. And those 3% were the most successful out of everyone that was interviewed. And a study shows only about 3% of the population usually have a written down goals. And that will explain why there are very few people who might be as rich or successful, whatever you want to call it, because there are very few people who have goals. Now, when it comes to goals, one of the youngsters I was speaking to said to me, just show me the goals you set and I want to follow you. And I smiled and I looked at him and said, well, you want to follow every footstep you want to follow every step that I took. And he said, yes, I want to follow your every step you took enthusiastically. I looked at him and I said, you mean you want to go through 11 years of depression and anxiety? You mean you want to go through years of feeling you're not good enough? You mean you want to go through waking up every single day when you were a minister waking up feeling you're inferior. You want to go through every step that I felt. He looked at me, went, maybe not. And they're my friends. That's why I say there isn't a simple 10-step a 10-step method to success, because it doesn't prepare you. We can't prepare yourself for tragedies of life. You can't prepare yourself for difficulties of life. You can't sit there and go, I'm ready for a year's time to lose everything that I have. Nobody does that. Nobody can be prepared for that. So now when it comes to goals, so many people set goals. Now this is the most incredible thing. So many people set goals. It's not that everyone who's not achieving great things, who are not doing anything. They're hardworking people. I know people are hardworking. They put their hours in, but they just don't seem to get the results. They just don't seem to get the results, and things just don't seem to go their way. Now you can ask, but Frank, yeah, you talk about goals. What's the point of setting goals when we see so many people just simply never succeed? My friends, here's the thing. Sometimes we set goals and we become fixated about what we need to do. This is how I want things to happen. And when life happens, we don't change. When life happens, we don't change anything. We just keep everything as they are. And because we keep everything as they are, we don't get the results that we want. Then we say, you know what? I worked so hard, but nothing ever happens. I was talking to an older gentleman the other day, and he said, you know what, hard work, it doesn't pay, because I saw my father work very hard all his life and he seemed to earn nothing, and he just died with nothing. And I remember I pondered on this when I went home. Why is it that so many people who just who are not doing, who seem to have the talents, who seem to have the skills, they're very nice people, but never seem to get a break? Now, as I pondered on this, I was reminded of an experience. I was doing a job, right? I started doing a job a few years ago. That was about 7 years ago. I was young. I was 26 years old. I was enthusiastic, and I was doing everything that needed to be done. We needed to save about 2.5 million in our organization. I worked so hard. We saved 4 million, right? And for me, it was about, I've got to work very hard. And if I work very hard, I'll get the opportunities. If I put the time in and the hours in, senior management are going to see that I'm working so hard. My colleague had another strategy. My colleague was, right, I'm going to be very nice to the senior managers. When they come in the morning, I'm going to make them a cup of tea. So then you had me just thinking, this is what I need to do. So when it comes to the time where we got the results, we saved over 1.5 million pounds of what we needed to save. Guess what? I got a pat in the back. I got a pat on the back, and my friend got the promotion. Because in all the work that she did, for her, she was strategic. She looked at it and said, how do I get to the goal that I want? Who can give me the goal? For me, I thought, right, let me put the hard work in, and I'm going to get the goal. But I did not ask who can give me the goal, who can give me the promotion. My colleague asked that question, who can give me the promotion on here? And she made sure they were aware of her. She made sure she was always there to render some form of services. And for me, it was, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to focus on my screen. I'll be here till 8 p.m. And once we get the results, I know people will see how hardworking I was. In other words, my friends, what you have to realize is when you set a goal, you don't just sit there. You just don't say, I've set a goal. I'm going to put the effort in. I'm going to put the hours in. You have to understand that there are different ways to get to your destination. Yes, I've got a goal, but I've got to be cute about it as well. I've got a goal. I've got to be cute about it. I've got to ask the question, who can give me the promotion? Who can find me this opportunity? I learned from that time. My best friend in one of my closest friends became one of the directors in our organization, because I knew that, right, I've got a goal, but who can help me to get that goal? So in everything that you do with your goals, you have to ask yourself, How can I go? How can I get to my destination? Yes, I've got a goal. That's a good start. Yes, I've got a goal. That is a good start. But who can help me? What other strategies can I use to get to the goal that I want? The other reason why so many people never see success in their life is they hold on to doors that close. They hold on to doors that close. I remember a few years ago, I left a job to go to another job, but that job did not work out, and I ended up having to resign like abruptly. I went to work one morning, I resigned that morning without a job to go to. I remember I went home and I sat and I thought, well, I can ring my old boss. And I knew my old boss. I knew the department I left was struggling. If I rang my old boss and say, I've got no job, can I come back? I would have been back in work the very next day. And I remember somebody said to me, you've got no choice but to go back. And I looked at them and it's just popped out of my mouth and I went, I've got another choice. I've got a choice not to go back. And I said, you know what? That door is closed. There's no opportunity there for me. There's no opportunities whatsoever. And I understood that. And the step that I took to go to a new job, even though that did not work, I understood that's just did not, it was never meant to work. So I did not even try to push it so hard because I knew it was not meant to work. So I moved on to find the next door. And my friends, what so many people do is they're constantly trying to open a door that it will never open. I am determined. My friends, now there is a difference between determination. There's a difference between determination and being stubborn. When you're stubborn, you don't see anything. You don't see opportunities. When you're determined, you keep moving forward. And as in a personal development world, we talk about not giving up. But I can tell you what, there are times when you have to give up on some things. There are times when you give up on a project that's not working so that you can move on to do another project that will work. There are times when you look at certain opportunities and you say, you know what, that will never work out. And you leave that opportunity and you go and you go and you go to you go to find another opportunity that will, you find another opportunity that will make you develop and that will make you grow. Those are the most important things that you have to always focus on. That sometimes in our lives, we're saying, I'm being determined, but we're just being stubborn. And when you're being stubborn, you're not really seeing we're not really seeing a lot of wisdom in a lot of action that you're taking. You're not really looking, you got no foresight of why you're doing something. So when you've got goals, my friends, what that means, it doesn't mean I got to do it in a rigid way. This is the way I'm going to do it step by step. There isn't a 10 simple steps to success. There isn't one. There never was one. There'll never be one. Life is tough. Life is tough. It's tough. Life is hard. Sometimes getting through the simple things of life are really difficult to deal with. So when people tell me I can show you 10 simple steps to success, it makes me angry. It absolutely makes me angry. Life is difficult. Life comes with challenges. There isn't a simple way to succeed in this life. You need a lot of determination. You need a lot of grit. You need to be a person who never gives up easy. Because sometimes where people are going to put you off and people are going to say, you need to give up because it's not working. Sometimes we do everything that we think we must do, but we're not getting the results that we want. You don't need to change the direction. You need to change your strategy. Most of the time we change the direction. And changing the direction, changing the destination What are we trying to do? We're finding what we're doing there is finding a permanent solution to a temporary problem. It was the great Les Brown who told a very intriguing story. He was speaking to a group of young kids and a group of young kids, and he asked them what they would do in difficult times. And these kids were writing down if things got really, really tough, they will commit suicide. And then they had the audacity to write about what they would do after they had committed suicide. I would commit suicide, but then you know what? I'll take step number 2, 3, 4, 5. No, once you find a permanent solution to a temporary problem, that's it, game over. Once you find a permanent solution, to a temporary problem, that's it, game over. Once you say, you know what, I'm going to just move on and do this other thing because this is not working, game over. So many people give up on the 1-yard line because they thought it was taking too long, because things did not go the way they expect them to be, because people have got this blueprint in their head of what success is going to look like. I had that blueprint in my head. For me, it was about, I'll go to university, I'll graduate from university, I'll have a good job. And that will be it. My life will be made. I remember one of the first jobs that I had was through an employment agency. I turn up and the manager looks at me and goes, "Oh, they didn't tell me you're black." And I remember thinking, I didn't think color of my skin was going to have anything to do with me finding a job. And I discovered it was. And all of a sudden, the goal that seemed so straightforward wasn't that straightforward anymore. I then had to ask myself, what other strategies can I use to make sure that I stand out? What other strategies can I use to make sure that I achieve the things that I wanted to do? In the organization I've worked in for the last 9 years, I've looked for wonderful opportunities all the time and they never came my way. And 4 weeks ago, finally, that opportunity came. And you know what I had to do? I had to do a lot of things. I discovered, right, if I'm going to get any recognition, I've got to be a lot better. I got to do better. I got to operate at 100%. I hate that saying 110%. I have to operate at 100% all the time. I have to be good at what I do. And being good at what I do was something that I constantly did. That was something that I constantly did on a daily basis to say, I am going to be good. That I'm going to be good at what I'm doing. I'm going to take my life. I'm going to make sure that I study more than anyone does. I'm going to make sure that if a new policy comes in, I'm going to know that policy inside out. I'm going to make sure that I study all my policies, all my HR policies, everything that there was to study to make me stand out. I did. Because here's the thing. Again, I discovered going to university and getting first class honors was not enough to get me to where I wanted to do, and I had to do other things. So many times we think if I do A, B, C, I'm going to get D. But sometimes you do A, B, C, and all of a sudden the D disappears. I call this, when I speak to our black young people in the city I live in of Gloucester, I said sometimes our careers can be like a disappearing staircase. You're like, I've taken the first step and the second step and the third step, and then you get to the fourth step and suddenly the fourth step disappears. What are you going to do? You still need to keep going. You need to get up there somehow. And these are the things that we have to always constantly think about when it comes to success and destinations in life. It's understanding that there's more than one way to get to where we want to be. There's more than one way to get the things that we want in our lives. That we're going to experience difficult times, but difficult times does not mean that everything that we do has come, that everything that we do has come, needs to come to an end because we have faced an obstacle. Becoming the best you can be, becoming what you were born to be, is not the easiest thing that you can ever do. Sometimes we'll do things and other people will tell us we're not good enough. Sometimes we'll be working on our dreams and people will say you are not good enough. Sometimes you will do everything that you need to do, but because of the way you speak, the way where you come from, or somebody, or they like your boss like somebody better, you'll be overlooked on a promotion. That is not a signal to say it's time to give up. That's a signal to start asking questions. A friend of mine got really frustrated because he just didn't seem to be getting the opportunities that he needed in his own organization. He said, I've always wanted to be director, but it just seemed every opportunity is not going to be there. And another friend of ours said, well, you know your business better than most. Why don't you just set up your own business? He considered that for a few months and he set up his business. He's now the director of his hugely successful company because he made a decision to say, I'm going to find another way to reach my destination. That this was not the only way that he was going to get to his own destination. And sometimes we face so many challenges in our lives. We go to school, as we were in school, our parents who are sponsors, or our sponsors, suddenly have an illness, they pass away, and we don't know how we're going to go to university. We don't know how we're going to pay our fees. For some people, that's the end of the game. It's not the end of the game. There's always other ways to do it. There's always other ways you can go. You can go and get the things that you want. Another friend of mine I grew up with in Zambia who had to go to university very late and just graduated last year. Everything about his life was tough and difficult and didn't have the funds. He went to work, he saved up the money, got to his destination and got his dream job. It was not as straightforward as he thought it was going to be, but he got there. He got there. And this is the most important thing, my friend. It's not about how you get there. It's all about getting there. Right? It's all about getting there. I remember many years ago, really the last time I saw my grandfather, it was 2008. May God rest his soul. And we were going to visit him. We went and saw my aunt in Solwezi, and my grandparents were in Kaoma. We could have done a shortcut. We could have done a shortcut over in Solwezi, but it was during rainy season and that road was flooded, so we couldn't use that road. So we had to go all the way. We had to go all the way from Solwezi, all the way to the Copper Belt, all the way to Lusaka, and then join that way, because that's the only way we can do it. And I always think about that experience whenever things are not going the way I expect them to be going, is that there's sometimes you're just gonna have to go the long way around. The long way around to get our destination. We gotta be patient. So instead of doing a 4 hour journey, we did a 12-hour, 13-hour journey. And sometimes in life, we set a goal and we expect to achieve it in 3 years, but sometimes it get achieved in 5 years, or in 10 years, or in 15 years. But it's all about keeping going and keep doing the things that we want to do. It's understanding that you are created here, you are brought on this earth for a reason, and that reason is that to do great things. That reason is to do great things in your life, to do the things that your talent allows you to do. So many people never even discover their true potential. They go through life never discovering what they could have done, what they could have been, until it's too late. You have to always ensure that you keep working on the things that matter to you. We're living in a difficult time at the moment, economically, uncertainty in the world, fuel prices, dare I say. There's so many things, and it's not like we don't worry about it. It's not the fact that I look at fuel prices and go, don't worry, it doesn't bother me. I'm motivated. Of course it does. Of course it does. There's certain things that we we used to spend money on, and my wife and I have gone, maybe we can cut down on that, maybe we can cut down on that, well, so we can have money put aside, put aside some money from on a rainy day, on a day that we'll probably take it, have a takeaway, we'll probably go, naturally we're cooking because it's going to be a lot cheaper. So there's things that we always constantly think about. But in the time of uncertainty, in the time of everything that is going on, we still have to keep growing. We still have to keep doing the things that we wanted to do. My next book, Finding a Voice, gets published at the end of May. And probably I was thinking, is it the right time to publish this book with so much uncertainty? You know, you keep waiting for the perfect moment. You never get to do the things that you want to do. So, my friends, in everything that you do, what you have to understand is there's more than one way. There's more than one way to get to your destination. There's more than one way to get the things that you want to get in your life. And you have to just wake up every day. Make sure you're taking the actions that are needed. We don't get in life what we want. We get in life what we do on a consistent basis. So when it comes in terms of being successful, in terms of achieving great things,
I always wanted to learn how to play piano, but I never had the time. And then
in terms of achieving great things in our lives, it's all about taking every step, taking every action that it needed to be taken. So many people want to be successful, but they just simply never do enough. They want to change the world, but they don't make their bed. They want to change the world, but they never really wake up every morning and say, what can I do today that is going to make me better? They wake up every single day without looking around and recognizing what opportunities are around them. Setting goals, my friend, does not mean that you've got tunnel vision, that you don't look at opportunities around you, you don't look at what's there. It simply means you've got something that you're aiming for, but also you're wise enough to understand that there are always opportunities along the way. I know people have been working on goals in their lives, but they've reached a point and say, you know what? I've recognized there's something that I can do. There's something more out there. I can do something different. And they've taken those opportunities. Having a goal does not mean you've got tunnel of vision. Having a goal does not mean you ignore every opportunity that's around you. Having a goal does not mean you don't look at other alternatives in your life. Having a goal gives you something to aim for, something to wake up for every morning. That's important to note as well, my friends. So many people simply never have goals. They wake up every single day, they go to jobs that they had because they have to pay their lousy bills. That's not exciting. So many people never explore their talents, never explore where their talents could take them. They've never explored how wonderful this life could be. They've never explored where their life could be if only they worked more on themselves. We don't get in life what we want. We get in life what we are. Success is not what we get. Success is who you become. Don't focus on becoming better than your friends or your neighbor. Focus on becoming better than you were yesterday. That's what goals are there for. Goals are there to make you better. Goals are there to make you improve your life. Goals are there to make sure that you don't repeat the same mistakes you made yesterday tomorrow. Goals are there to be your checks and balances. Goals are there to ensure that you do the things that you really want to do. My friends, we have to understand, we have to have goals in our lives. You cannot make it as a wandering generality, but you have to become a meaningful specific. So in all that you do, my friends, understand, you're designed for accomplishment, you're engineered for success, and you're endowed with the seed of greatness. So my friends, when we wake up every day, we have to understand that there are alternative routes to everything that we do. There are alternative routes to our goals. Never let anybody tell you about the 10 easy steps of success. Life is tough. Life is unpredictable. But that doesn't mean the obstacle is not the end of the road. And in most cases, the obstacle is always the way. Make sure you remember this. There are more than one way to get to your destination. Go and live your dream. This has been Frank Saliki with Thursday Night Motivation. I hope this evening you've taken away something that is going to inspire you, that is going to make you reflect on your life in a different way, make you reflect on how you do things. And I hope this evening you kind of got my message on goals. It's all about making sure that we all understand this. There's more than one way to get to where we want. There's more than one way to get the things that we want in our lives. There's more than one way to really reach that goal. Just because somebody else has done it one way doesn't mean that's the one way that works for you. And remember, success is not what you get. Success is who you become. So thank you very much for joining me this evening. The lineup for the rest of this week on TV Bakwetu looks like this. Tomorrow night coming up will be Dr. Munsha and the crew, about 22 hours Zambian time. On Saturday, we've got Mr. Nkwilimba with news from the constituencies at 2000 Zambian time. And on Sunday, it's always a busy schedule at 1500 Zambian time. We've got your Sunday encouragement with myself, and at about 21 hours we've got our lovely Linda Banks with the Linda Banks show. And on Monday night we have got Mr. Patrick Chilufya with the one-on-one with the wonderful Dr. Jones Kasonso. So we still, and then the schedule continues as normal as it does for the rest of next week. So continue joining us. And for those who wish to, if you can buy some stars and help support us in bringing you these programs. I'm also looking for a group of young people who are inspired, who can come and join me and talk motivation in helping to inspire young people. So if there are any young people, any youth who are listening this evening, if you would want to be part of Frank Saliki's inspiring the youth on TV Bakwetu, if you can message me, you can find me on my author page, author Frank Saliki, and we can have a discussion. And that is it from us this evening on TV Bakwetu. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you. God bless our country. And God bless your dream.